Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labour and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school, where the children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads towards eternity.
shadows as our worlds move on. In the shadows, I can be you, to be near you for a while. In the shadows, I can be you, to be near you for a while. There's a crane knocking down all those things that we were. I awake in the night to hear the engines purr. There's a pain, it does ripple through my face, makes me late. There's a song in my soul. It's the shame, it's the price of you and me. Ever changing, moving on now, moving fast, and it's touch must be wanted, must be caught through your eyes. But I need Jake to tell you that I love you. It never ends, and I'm blessed every day now for a year, for a year. And it's sad, you know, on the way for to read our name. They're together, must have fallen like a seed to the depth of the soil, buried deep in the ground. On the wind, I could hear you call my name, held the sound. I am lost, I am lost in a rainbow, no rainbow is gone. I am lost in a rainbow, no rainbow is gone. I am lost, I am
Watering can and Wellington boots are shined and ready. The produce is washed, measured and weighed. Just one more night to fight off those pesky slugs, and then it is green fields, allotment, produce, show. Victory for the taking, and victory will be mine. I've worked too hard for it not to be. Little Neve, she thinks I am ridiculous. The way I coax my runner beans to clamber up the cane and whisper to the strawberries to strive and unfurl their leaves beneath the sun. She doesn't understand the healing power of plants. I say to her, a journalist has to write about things they don't understand. And she rolls her eyes. But she does rearrange her shifts so that she could come and report on the show for the village newsletter. She's a good lass. I said, it'll look good on your CV. Although in truth I was hoping for something more. Gardening can be a lonely occupation sometimes. And she does have it in her blood after all. Look at these beetroot. They have thick, sticky veins piercing the green leaves. Full of antioxidants, apparently. It were a year ago today, my first ride in an ambulance. So yes, perhaps I do need Neve beside me tomorrow for moral support. Gwen was so proud of her marrow. 19 inches exactly. She stayed up all night to guard it against the slugs. Nothing, she vowed, would stay in the way of our victory. Except one moment we were stood in the queue. We were waiting to register the marrow, and she was rattling on about Maureen's raspberries, and the next, she was on the floor. Mr. Beecham, they said. Yes, that's me, I said. She's had a stroke, they said, with cardiac complications. 1 week in the hospital, barely any sleep, each bunch of flowers a brutal reminder of that afternoon. I suppose the marrow will have just lain where I dropped it. Food for hungry slugs. Gwen always liked to be in charge. A trait left over from her days as headmistress, I suppose. She kept telling me that she was fine and that I had to go back and register the marrow, otherwise we couldn't win. I got frustrated. I said to her, the competition's over, it doesn't matter. And she got angry and she said I didn't know what I was talking about, that I didn't matter. They said she didn't mean it. It was the shock talking. Delirium, they called it. It lasted a week. And then suddenly, I didn't have a prize-winning marrow or a wife. The Village Widowers Society sent me a formal invitation. I threw it on the compost heap. So now, I dig up my potatoes, I breathe in and I breathe out. I look around our allotment, and she's here. I see her in the runner beans and the marrows. And if I know Gwen, she'll have those judges sorted out tomorrow.
to protest, a statement or action expressing disapproval or objection to something. To fight for what you believe in, or to follow a trend. To stand together, to carry on when others no longer do. To stop when you think you've done enough, or to stop when the end goal has been reached. To be the change that you want to see in the world.
I know now. I understand. Now, I am a real actress. I act with enjoyment, with ecstasy. I get intoxicated on that stage, and I feel that I am beautiful. I've walked everywhere. I walk and think, and every day I feel my spiritual powers grow. I know now. I understand. And what we do, whether we act on the stage or write on the page, the most important thing isn't fame or glory or anything I used to dream about, but the ability to endure, to know how to bear your cross, and to have faith. I have faith, and my pain is less. And when I think about my vocation, I'm not afraid of life.
Within a month, our lives have changed. Things that are normal are banned. We are confused, scared, broken. Everything that we are used to, shattered, crushed, here no longer. It's different, strange, a new way of living. Something to get used to before it changes again, because as soon as it becomes normal, it's normal no longer. So normal isn't normal, it changes too quickly. Don't panic every time something changes. It may be scary, it may be confusing, but you get used to it. The only thing that stays the same is that it's always changing. Ironic, isn't it?
One of the things that's brought me joy during lockdown is just little things like going to get a nice coffee, a nice meal to take out from somewhere, things that I would have taken for granted before. I've found one of my favourite things about lockdown has been everybody just having time to think and be still and spending time with your family.
I think planting seeds and just watching them grow day by day, I've had more time to do that than ever before. And just seeing every day flowers starting to grow from those seeds, that's been a real pleasure.
I felt sadness during lockdown when I've heard of people losing loved ones and not sure how their businesses are going to survive and people losing jobs.
one thing that's like made me cling on to hope is making plans for when things go back to some normality, and also reading stories about the good things people have done during lockdown.
I guess just, seeing people being sensible about it and taking into account all of the precautions and, wearing masks and socially isolating and keeping their distance when they're outside. I guess that gives me hope that it's going to be over sooner rather than later.
I think I've talked to so many more people that I just hadn't had time, neither of us had time to have a conversation with in months, because life has got, it's still busy, but somehow less busy at the same time. And so people are calling, people are having like full conversations. Just chatting to people on the phone is the best thing. And it's really nice just to say to someone, can I give you a call? And so I think that I was worried about that sense of isolation, but I think I don't feel as isolated as I thought I would, which is nice.
I think it's made me realise how, more than ever, how important social interaction is, and that we need each other, and we need to be able to chat and to share and to meet up with others. It's vital for our mental health to help and care and support for others.